Hello, I'm FXToyCat and welcome back to episode of my Minecraft Xbox Update Adventures Let's Play. This is the Let's Play where I'm playing through the various updates that have come out for Minecraft on the Xbox, building stuff, killing stuff, and of course, destroying stuff. And in today's episode, I'm actually going to be working on a little bit of, I think this just counts as destruction, because I'm destroying an entire jungle in Minecraft. This jungle is a little bit further away from my home spawn than you might realize, because how we get there is we take a pretty huge flight from here, over the bed, over the Elgato, and about 2,000 blocks south until we reach the boatway. There's a whole jungle that I'm destroying. The reasons for it are a little bit complex, and I've gone through it a little bit, and we'll go through it in a future project video, but long story short, there is a jungle I need to destroy, and today, we're going to be focusing on the destruction of said jungle, while we talk about what's been going on the past week and all the other stuff that I know a lot of people like to hear. Because again, this Let's Play is not just a great opportunity to play some Minecraft, you know, that's why it's called a Let's Play. We're all kind of playing Minecraft together and talking about it. I mean, I'm talking and you're hopefully listening and maybe engaging at some point in your head. But yeah, basically we're doing this today because I wanted to talk about what's been going on, as well as the big things coming up in the future, because a lot of that has been on my mind recently. And also the last week has been important because we had Easter literally yesterday. And again, I know some people aren't like big Easter people. It shocked me that like a lot of my friends were like, oh yeah, I'm not doing anything at Easter. And I was like, but like, with your family or something? They're like, oh no. So I guess Easter, like, I guess it's like slowly fading from like, you know, like big event to like, oh yeah, that's like a kind of, it's a day where you get eggs and then you continue on your normal day. This is something that kind of shocked me, but I wanted to talk about Meister a little bit because again, I find it interesting that like, oh, also, oh wow, that was weird lag. Do you see that? Like I used the firework, but it took a while to take effect. Anyway, I found it kind of interesting that like, oh yeah, so Easter is an experience that I apparently have uniquely. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit and just talk about in general what's been going on, because I feel like the last couple of days has been my first couple of days in a while where I've been like, okay, we're gonna try our very hardest, even though I want to do some stuff and we're at home, we can do some stuff. Let's you know, like get the most important stuff done, and then let's have like a literal half day off like work and a half day off the exact opposite of that. Oh, that was the day before Easter, to be precise. I mean, Easter, I was busy dying half the day and then like scooting around the other half. But yeah, I basically spent the day before Easter like, okay, I'm gonna have a half day of doing a thing and a half day of not. And I actually, this is something I really personally struggle with. Like, if you, for me at least, there's either days where it was, you know, like, I guess most people would like define their lives as like hard days and easy days, like soft days and hard days, whatever you want to define things. But like, usually that's how things go for me too. Like, oh yeah, well, I mean, like, either it's a super fun chill day or it's a day where there's some stuff involved. It's very hard to like do a proper half and half of something. And this is interesting because the best life, you know, the ideal dream that I think everyone wants in their heads is like, wouldn't it be great if we had a balance between work, between life, between all the other things as well? Like, oh yeah, if we could exercise every day, if we'd have great relationships with our friends, family, lovers, etc. But most people realistically, like, every day you focus on one of those things explicitly, and you just hope that you don't forget about something for too long. Like, you know how you always have a friend that like you've been meaning to talk to for a while, but it just hasn't kind of come about? And that's because like, oh yeah, well, today is not a friend's day, today is a work day, today's a fitness day, today's a relaxation day, because everyone needs breaks, right? And yeah, I think this kind of comes back to the scheduling thing that I think about. But yeah, yesterday I was like, okay, I'm going to try my best to literally do every single individual thing. It's going to be both work, I'm going to do a bit of exercise, then I'm going to relax, but like within good bounds. And yeah, I don't know. It's like the first time I felt like I successfully did that, because I edited a huge video. Like it was, if you're curious, it's on EarthMC, another geography style server. And yeah, basically it, like editing that video was just such a chore. It was 3 hours of footage I had to turn in something. I spent all morning editing that myself, because even though I have an editor, Cameron, legendary potato, he's a very good man. He helps me with a lot of stuff. You know, like he can only edit so much, and also I tried to have like the higher, I guess higher production quality videos. Like, you know, it's fun to have like big videos go there, like project videos and stuff like that. So when it's something that like, okay, I can edit this myself, I'm gonna do it. It's just kind of hard sometimes. And yeah, I wanted to talk about the EarthMC thing because this week has been the first week in quite some time where I felt like, I would say, threatened. Like okay, so there's this interesting thing where the idea of like a geography server, it's only for Java, it's only a handful of servers. It's a concept which has only been around for about 6 months, but they've been blowing up, and because they've been blowing up recently, you know, in part because of a video I released, a lot of servers are like, wow, yeah, this is too much. They implemented queues and stuff like that, and yeah, a lot of these servers are profiting hugely, but also they're limiting the number of users who can get on, and that allows them to sell more donations as well as reduce server loads. Like, they save money by earning money from donations and stuff. So the reason I bring that up is because a lot of people are like, oh man, we can't. Every community has this aspect, and I think on Java it's most prevalent because there's a lot of servers that were dying recently and now they're kind of back alive again, and it means that there's this community of people who are like, man, we need to stop any videos being released to the server because that YouTube YouTube has an amazing discovery algorithm. Like, that's how you found so many videos, maybe including mine at some point, because YouTube just shows you new stuff. A lot of it you don't like, but some of it you're like, wow, I'm glad I found that. It's hard to find another medium where you can just discover new things like on YouTube, and so a lot of people are discovering these servers. And so I've had basically a bunch of medium-sized threats as well as slightly large ones saying you release this video and X or Y bad thing will happen to you. And I think that's the most absurd thing because it's on two levels, right? The first level is, why would you ever this thing exists and it's fine to release a video on anything you want to, but actually it's absurd to me that anyone would be like, oh man, too many new people joining our community, because most communities want to get large. It's just there's some very weird edge cases where oh yeah, well, we think it's bad now that people join the community. So there's been some threats from it. So that's the first level of this is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous position, not wanting someone to get larger. And then the second part of it's well, if you try to get someone not to do something with threats, generally that just makes people double down, right? It's rare that I've ever been oh well, there's a threat, so I better not do that. Generally speaking, unless it's super. There are very few good reasons why you should back down. The whole "we don't negotiate with terrorists" things is generally a good rule. If you negotiate with terrorists, then becoming a terrorist becomes the way you get negotiated with. And that's why, for instance, I said this on Twitter because there's been a lot of similar things going on like this. But I agree with it right now. If you when we have a terror attack, we don't go, oh, we should go over to those guys who did this. We should talk to them about it and say, hey, what would you want from us to not do that? Would you like some money? Would you like some guns? Maybe we should change our way of life for you. We go, no, we won't back down to that. And that's how my brain's always been. So yeah, this is the first time in a while where I've had a little bit of, I guess I would say maybe not anxiety, but a little bit of a little of worry as something's going on. Wow, now I have to deal with this. This is a whole nightmare that shouldn't have to be a thing. I always hate when something is so unnecessary for everyone involved. There's a lot of things like that in life and the universe and everything like that. But so it always sucks when you spend a lot of time doing something that's semi-unnecessary. And that's a thing that is happening this week. But yeah, that's the biggest three things I would say. Had Easter, was a really good family time. Had a really good proper balanced day for the first time in quite some time, because again I travel a bunch, which is kind of I don't usually do video style work. I do other I would say mental work of some forms, but if you don't believe that, then that's fine. But I usually keep everything in my world quite badly balanced, on the month scale or the year scale, but badly balanced on the day scale. And I feel like I had a perfectly balanced day recently, and I wanted to share it with you all because maybe that's the sort of thing that might help for all of you. Because one of the rules that I live my life by, I don't know if I learned this from somewhere, but I've looked it up several times and I can't find any record of it. If you Google 1% rule, you come up with some renting yield strategy. But I really do believe for any big tasks, there's two types of big tasks. One you can just do with a big leap. Okay, ask that girl out. It'll suck afterwards if she says no, but there's a chance she'll say yes. Just do it, just do it, man. I know it's hard. I know the fact that it's hard is the reason that it's so rewarding when you can actually do it. If it was easy, everyone would do it. That's how a lot of things are. Just do it. That Shia LaBeouf just do it. Yesterday you said tomorrow, so today you're gonna. The reason that works is because just having that moment of doing a thing that can help with half the things in life. But for the other half, things oh yeah, I really, I go to Germany a bunch. I have a German girlfriend, so I'm in Germany a whole bunch of the year. Wouldn't it be cool if I could learn some? I pick up a bunch of German. I find it interesting when I do. So it would be good if I could learn a little bit of that, right? So all you have to do is, you can't just decide, oh yeah, I'm gonna have one moment where I just decide I'm gonna learn German. I'm just gonna sit down for 6 hours and learn it. A lot of skills aren't that way. A lot of things, if I hear a lot of people. In fact, I follow a YouTuber on Twitter who's just I haven't been uploading in 6 months, but today I've decided I'm going to be the biggest YouTuber in my space. I don't know if he said biggest Minecraft YouTuber or biggest whatever YouTuber, but he was I'm going to be the biggest YouTuber. And it's you don't, there's a lot of things where it can help to just decide one day, I'm going to do it. But like, there's lots of goals that take a lot more than wanting it. There's a lot of goals that take a lot more than, like, having the effort, the determination, or whatever. And it's, in my opinion, for those goals, you need what I would say is the 1% rule. Because if you just get 1% better at something every day, within a certain amount of time, you're now really good at that thing. If you get 1% better at language every day, you might think, like, oh, that takes 100 days to get 1 times better. But again, it's there's a lot of principles around this. Like, this is how the Pareto principle works. But you know how when you put money in a bank and over 10 years it's worth X amount, but over 20 years it's worth way more? Because compound interest, that compound interest, the idea that as something gets bigger, it gets easier to get bigger, is something you can do with any skill. Like, if you're really bad at something, just start, and then as long as you have enough time and you put a tiny bit of effort in each day, then you'll get way better. So in general, I feel like I've had a good day for one of those long, crazy goals if I can get 1% better at something. And yeah, I don't know if you want to hear about some recent examples. My biggest expense, I don't know what this is for most people, but for me, like, my biggest expense in any given year is taxes. I pay a huge, it's a thing. If you live in the UK, you're welcome, I guess, question mark. But no, so like, I finally worked out a way to be like, oh yeah, well, there's a way to actually save 1% here, as in not pay 1% less, but get 1% back, basically. Because recently, they stopped you using cards and stuff. Whole fun thing, but like, oh yeah, I found a way to get like 1% return, save 1% on the transaction costs, basically. And it's like, heck yeah, 1% better at something that huge is big. 1% better at like something like, I don't know, like, I worked out a way to eat healthier but also tastier. Like, oh yeah, heck yeah, now that's gonna stack up and I'm gonna either lose weight or just eat way tastier food. Realistically, probably that second one. But like, there's a bunch of examples where just like, oh yeah, make a small difference and it'll make a big difference. And yeah, it's a big principle I believe in. I forgot how we even came to this subject, but it's something I wanted to talk about today because it's something that I feel like is what, like, there's so many things that I don't think I could do, but then slowly you start to realize you can. Like, there are so many huge mountains when you, because if the problem with, there's, like I said, there's two big things you want. Like, there's two types of things you might want to do in life. There are things that are big, and there are things that are small. And usually, if it's a thing you want to do as opposed to a thing you've done, they're usually big or tricky things. Like, no one's ever like, what I really want in life? I want to call up the dentist and tell them I'm gonna come in. No one's ever like, but I just don't know how to do it. Where would I even start? Like, my mobile phone, I haven't used it for phone calls in forever. Would it work for a phone call? I don't know. Like, that is a anxiety thought path you can get down. But most people can logic their way out of that fairly soon. Even if it takes you, like, an hour to finally be like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna call the dentist and I'm gonna say I'm going in. Which, side note, I am going to the dentist tomorrow. Probably should cancel that because 1.14 is coming out. But again, whole separate side note here. But like, yeah, it's a thing, right? Where people, there are easy tasks, and for all the hard tasks, knowing how to do them is tricky. And I think often, like, the bad advice of, like, generalizing is really bad. Like, there's so much bad advice out there that's only bad advice because people act like it applies to everything when it only applies to a lot of things. This is often how I see the idea of, like, oh yeah, if you have a dream, just believe in it. This suffers from the survivor fallacy, the idea that because someone has done something, anyone can do something. There are a lot of things where that isn't the case. There's a lot of things where there's both hard work and determination, as well as luck required. But people, seeing your own luck is really tricky, and that's why I think that, for instance, being a YouTuber, I think I came up with this example just earlier, it's not a thing you can just want. It's a thing you need to want, you need to work, consistently hard, and then you need to get lucky. There's a lot of YouTubers who make great stuff that aren't, well received everywhere because there's, again, a lot of luck involved because of how discovery algorithms and stuff work, which brings us all the way back to the start, right? And yeah, the reason I bring that up is because I think every piece of advice in life, every idiom has some truth and some untruths. And that's why I wanted to, like, bring up the 1% rules of thing of just saying, like, hey, there are big things you can do with one big push. Just do it is a really good thing. But for things not like that, it's not that, if you want to do something big, the way I would always say it is like, oh yeah, make a small difference every day. Just, make sure you're on the trajectory towards it at all times. Even if that means like, oh yeah, 5 minutes every morning, I'm gonna learn a little bit of this. Or, oh yeah, like, if it's, I don't know, finance is something I really find interesting. If it's just like, oh yeah, I'll just, start reading, a magazine like that on the train, bus, whatever else you take to wherever you're going each morning. Like, you can learn a whole bunch about a whole bunch of different things very slowly. And that's how everyone does learn everything. Like, when you get passionate about something, I really liked dinosaurs as a kid. I didn't just one day be like, I want to care about dinosaurs. And then the day 2, I was like, I know everything about dinosaurs now. Aren't dinosaurs cool? Stegosauruses are my favorite. Side note, when I was a kid, I don't know why, I don't know if this is a common thing, but I had a favorite dinosaur as a kid, and I still think, like, you know, that was really silly, but weird. But again, it's fine when you're young. Like, have weird passions, and those passions sometimes help you much later on. Anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to share something that I think is important, because it's often misguided. I mentioned in a few places, like, oh yeah, this is a thing I really believe in, but I've never mentioned why I believe it. Because, I mean, it's objective truth to anyone that if you get 1%, or say 2%, because that's how economies grow, right? The way the real life economy grows is, in the West at least, again, if you live in the UK, the US, etc., every year, the amount we output grows by 2%. And that means that over 40 years, that the thing that we do as a society, it doubles. It's really hard to see that in any given year, but then when you look back 10 years, you can see the progress that's been made. And it's interesting because that's how things need to be. It can't feel like there's two separate things for you. Like, every day you don't wake up feeling like a different version of yourself, but when you think back 10 years ago, you probably think you're different. And hopefully, again, I would hope that that's for the better. If it's for the worse, then hopefully you can make it for the better in the future. But it's something that that's how changes happen. And I think when people act like it's a momentary decision to go from I was bad and then 10 seconds later I was good, like, it's not a realistic thing that you can, like, follow yourself. Like, oh yeah, well, I used to think that it took hard work and determination to do X or Y task. Like, I used to think that to become what's like a hard job, like a movie director, you had to learn how to direct shots, and you had to make connections in the industry, and you had to have one breakout hit that people really liked, have people advertise it well and stuff. But no, actually, as it turns out, one day I just decided I am a director, and then, you know what, I got a directing gig the very next moment, and like, it's ridiculous, but it's something that accidentally seeps into all of us that I don't think is necessarily helpful. So there you go, 1% rule. Follow it, don't follow it. But I wanted to share it because I sometimes, whenever I have, like, a particularly good day and a good breakthrough moment, and I know what it is, I try to, like, share that with the world. I think that's something that's good to do. Like, it's one of the cool things about having an audience. This Let's Play is, like, the one place where, like, it doesn't matter what I talk about. We'll talk about like, Nazi cats if we want to. Like, it's fine. We can do whatever. I like having the Let's Play for this, and I think one of the useful things for that is to, like, be like, hey, yeah, this isn't it's not a very easy principle to share. Like, if I was going to make a video, just a motivation video saying the 1% rule, I'd be like, this can solve everything. Like, have you ever noticed how, like, vegetables are really unhealthy? Well, if you just eat them 1% every day, 1% more every day, then you'll be eating all the vegetables. Wait, what did I say there? You're not what I just said, but with more sense attached. But maybe that's how I would be. Maybe that's just the best format. Like, it's easy to have generalizing rules that cover everything. Because, again, there's a really interesting human principle where, like, if we don't understand a question, we just substitute it with our own without realizing that we've done that. It's something cognitive. It's like a replacive cognitive function. Like, it's a weird human behavior that I find interesting. So sometimes I say humans way too often when I'm talking about people, right? I'm always like, oh yeah, isn't it weird how humans do this? And I'd like to just take this moment to assure you I'm not an alien, as far as I'm aware. But I think observing humans from the perspective of an alien would be useful. Or it's how I kind of like to do things. Because if you see yourself as part of the big group, then you're responsible for every failure, and therefore you'd want to justify it. But if you just see the failures as a thing that other people do, like, that can drive you to be like, yeah, but I'm not like those other people. I'm way better. So sometimes using, like, human ego can do some good things. Or maybe it can't. Maybe that's why we have Nazi cats in the world. Which, like I said, my Let's Play, I'll talk about cats that believe in bad things. Oh, side note, I want to take this opportunity and say, a lot of people are always asking, like, so when are you going to do, like, history video involving Nazi? And I just feel like it's one of those subjects that maybe might be too heavy to, like, reasonably go at, or maybe I should just do it and see how the response is. But yeah, it's not the reason we don't talk about Nazi cats all the time is because I feel like it's the one area where everyone's quite well informed. Like, oh yeah, you remember that really bad thing? Yeah, me too. I remember the really bad thing as well. Yep, that was a good chat we just had right there. Because again, I like it. I don't know why I like educating and / education, but it's something I really value, find interesting, and that's why I try to, generally talk about some things that maybe aren't so widely known or covered. And that's the basis of the history series. So speaking of other things on the channel, because this is also a good way to do like a weekly channel update, because a lot of my life is this channel. Not in terms of like, oh yeah, the only way I value myself is as IBX Toycat, and if I wasn't IBX Toycat, I would literally kill myself. That's not, at least I hope that's not how I see myself. But it is something that like a lot of the things I'm most excited about, when it's a particularly big, like, let's call it a work week, just to keep things simple, but are like new videos. So right now, I'm working on a couple of new survival projects, side by side. Actually, this thing right here, this whole jungle clearing, it's gonna take about 8 hours, and it's gonna be maybe 8 seconds in a video. Like, it's gonna be, it's pretty rough in that regard. Again, it's just a part of another bigger project. But it's really cool working on the big survival projects, because I think they have a big impact on people, and I think they encourage people to play some more survival. Like, it can be hard in a world where YouTube is filled with people who are just trying to pretend they did stuff, and is filled with people who make, they use creative because it's faster, not because it's more fun, or they'll do something or they'll pretend they've done something in survival because, you can simulate 10 hours of work in 10 seconds by using creative. But stuff like that, I think it's cool for people to see the progress of something actually being built in a genuine kind of like, I don't want it to seem cool, like a project video, I guess, is the simplest way to describe it, even though that's literally how I just said it. But a lot of people really like that, and that's why I record some of my biggest survival projects, and I've been doing that recently. So I've got a couple on the go right now. I think they're going to turn out well. Maybe by the time they come out, everyone doesn't care anymore. But I really like that people are super into survival again, and I hope, if that includes you, that you enjoy seeing the videos. That, again, it's funny because the amount of time putting in for video, like, on a traditional business level, it's really hard to justify, like, oh yeah, this takes 100 times longer than an average video. Like, this Let's Play, I'm always upfront the fact that it takes me 22 minutes and, like, 5 seconds, whatever I'm right now, to record where we are now. By the time it's finished, it'll be a little bit closer to half an hour. Maybe we'll accidentally forget about the timer. We'll go all the way to half an hour. But, that's how long this video takes. Because then my editing is just throw in the generic stuff, throw in an outro, render that, upload that. It's maybe an hour of total labor. Whereas to do something like a couple of the big projects I'm working on right now, it might be 10 hours of just the gameplay, and then all those other things stack a little bit more and stuff like that. So yeah, the actual return doesn't make sense on any, like, oh yeah, well, it doesn't make 100 times more money. It doesn't even usually make like 10 times or 5 times or whatever. But I sometimes think, like, there is this creative part of everyone. Maybe it's like, maybe doing YouTube has made that creative part appear. But there is a creative part of the mind that is satisfied in some way. And also, we spoke about the Maslow's hierarchy recently. It was kind of in a joke for the cave update video, but like, we did speak about the fact that, like, oh yeah, it's really cool when you get to the stage where you can, help other people. You reach the stage where you know what you are and helps other people. And I sometimes wonder, like, maybe that's the reason. Or maybe I just don't, in my head, I'm just like, oh, this might become because to get, 100 times more views in this video, how many views would it need to get? Like, do the maths right now. If this has 5,000 views, it needs 500,000. If this has 10,000 views, it needs 1 million. And maybe in my head, I'm just like, well, let's do 100 times more work and get 100 times more views. Maybe that is just how things are. But it's interesting because sometimes you make decisions that you can't rationally justify. And I think it's good to think about those, because a lot of the irrational decisions you make are probably harmful. Some of them are good, some of them, like, it's not, as long as you can work out, like, oh yeah, it's just creatively fulfilling. It's good for me in that way. But yeah, oh, that was weird. That happens on Bedrock all the time to me. Like, I don't even know why. Oh, tomorrow is 1.14. I should mention, I used to, back in the Minecraft console days, I used to be really big on having a big update day. Like, oh yeah, update is here. 6 videos today to kind of celebrate, I guess you would call it. And that's not something I usually do so much of anymore. I haven't done it. Like, I think like Bedrock updates are a lot harder to be excited for, because like they're a lot more frequent and people don't really know they're coming before they're coming. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons we could talk about all day. But again, this video is not an all day video. Should we do that for Let's Play next week? Is 24 hours just everything I want to do in a day. There's me cooking in there and stuff. That's a great idea. It's a terrible idea, by the way. Oh, and we've crashed again. Well, that seems like a natural point to end today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I'm really looking forward to 1.11 because the game will not crash as much as it currently is, just to show you that this isn't like a screenshot. This is very much my game just crashed. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. That cuts things a bit short, but maybe it's a sign that, you know, we should end just here, me going to bed. Hopefully my world isn't corrupted, I guess. You know, we'll work that out, then we'll say goodbye, because then I'll be a lot sadder or happier. But I'm looking forward to 1.14 tomorrow. I'll probably have a couple of update videos, and you should watch out for that too. Hey, not only did it not break, but also it seems as though I'm in the exact right position. Often when your world breaks like this, you lose like half an hour or like 20 seconds, or you lose some amount of your save data. So it's good that we didn't. Look how wonderful the world is. See, today's gonna be a good day. Go make the most of it. Or don't make the most of it. Maybe your definition of making the most of something is deliberately not making the most of something. I'm not here to judge you, your decisions, and your definitions. Instead, I'm just here to say thank you very much for watching. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We'll probably be streaming, so if you like the streams but you feel like you missed them, then just keep an eye out on Twitter and or the YouTube thing. Like, you know, like they're there, but they're sometimes tricky to find for some people. So like, I don't know. Turn on notifications, hit that bell, smash that bell harder than anything you've ever smashed before. Smash it like you want to smash Minecraft when, you know, it crashes on you. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, because I'm going to see you all next time. Goodbye, friends and lovers.